We were never supposed to look at politics this way. We were supposed to be smart as South African voters. We were supposed to be smart, and we were supposed to say, guys, because we have political parties that actually have standards in the country, the people would actually have standards too. The people would have standards too. Because people would understand that I cannot vote for every Tom, Dick and Harry.
The 360 experience with Thomas M.
You see, guys, I'm one of those people who actually believes that the reason why we have a low quality of politicians in South Africa is because we don't have standards for people who want to enter the political arena. Can you imagine the kind of politicians we would have in South Africa today if political parties actually had requirements for people who want to join political parties? I mean, for an example, if someone says, I want to run for the presidency of South Africa, it is only fair for South Africans to do a bit of background about this person. I mean, for an example, if John Steenhuisen says, I want to run for the presidency of South Africa, we have to look at where this person comes from. If John Steenhuisen comes from Johannesburg, Soweto, we have to go to Johannesburg, to Soweto, and see what John Steenhuisen has actually done for the people of Soweto. If Julius Malema says, I want to be the president of South Africa, we have to look at where this person comes from. Let's look at Seshego. Let's go to Limpopo and look at Seshego. Let's do our investigation and understand the kind of work this person has actually done for the people of Seshego. I think that way we could actually have politicians who want to serve the people of this country. Unlike what we are having today, a bunch of narcissists who simply want to lead the country. A lot of politicians today, if we actually had standards, they would not be politicians today. You look at people like Gwede Mantashe, you look at someone like Jacob Zuma, just look at where those people come from. Just look at how the people are living in the neighborhoods where these people grew up. Those people, they have no space to be in our politics. They have no space. If you cannot work for your own community, the requirement should say that if you cannot work for your own community, then you have no space requesting the people of South Africa to vote for you to be the president of the country. I think we should have some standards for politicians or for anyone who wants to enter the political arena. And this thing can only be done by political parties. It's unfortunate that political parties are simply worried about the numbers. Political parties, they don't care about the kind of people they recruit within the groups. They don't care. They simply want many people as possible. But can you just imagine if someone can actually go out and start a political party and say that if you want to join this political party, we're going to have a bit of standards for people who want to join this political party, because we understand that if you join a political party today, chances are tomorrow you would be running for the president of the country. So if you want to join this political party, we're going to look at your background. We're going to go back to your neighborhood and ask the people in your neighborhood the kind of work that you have done for them, the kind of contributions that you have done for those people. I think this is the reason why South Africa today we have low quality of politicians, because the political parties, they are simply looking at the numbers. They don't care about the kind of people who are joining different political parties. If we had this kind of standards, I'm telling you today that the people who would be running, lying to the people of South Africa, are people who would actually have done something for their own community. But today in South Africa, we are choosing the people who have never done anything for their own community to lead our country, to lead our municipalities, to lead everything. These people know nothing about leading. These people haven't done anything for their own community. Are you even surprised that these coalitions in South Africa, they are not even working? Why? Because most of these people in the coalitions, they have never done anything for their own community. So what makes you think that these people are going to do something for the people of South Africa? We need to have standards in South Africa. We need to have standards in South Africa. I mean, like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, man, it could be like, it would be a wonderful idea, man. It would be a wonderful idea. Imagine if we actually had a presidential debate in South Africa and all of these people who want to run for the presidency, maybe let's take 5 or 6 top political parties who wants to run for the people of South Africa. These people would be there on stage telling the people of South Africa that, guys, I want to lead South Africa. Not because I'm a narcissist. I want to lead South Africa because I've also led my own community. You can go back to where I come from and ask the people of that community. They can tell you the contributions that I have made in that community. And this is the reason why I think I can make a bigger contribution serving the people of South Africa. Why don't we have standards in South African politics? Why don't we have standards in South African politics? The fact that we don't have presidential debates today, the fact that South Africans are simply choosing politicians because they like them, not because they understand their policies, not because these policies have been scrutinized live on national television for everyone to see. It simply shows you that we don't have standards in South Africa. We don't have standards in South Africa. And I think this is the reason why we have the kind of politicians we have in the country today. Most of the politicians that are going around in the country today, these people, they have never served in their own communities. People simply decided to join the EFF, simply decided to join the DA, simply decided to join the ANC. These people have never done anything in their own community. And for some reason, the people of South Africa, they believe that people like that can now suddenly lead South Africa. I am not surprised South Africa is where it is today. I am not surprised. I mean, you look at the coalitions and the fact that most of these coalitions are not even working. I'm not surprised. These people know nothing about servicing their own people. They know nothing about servicing their own people. But if we actually had standards in South Africa, if we actually required people to have done something in their own community before they ascend to these senior positions, we can actually do something. Even the coalitions, it would not be something that can actually scare us in the country. We would not be scared of the coalitions because we would understand that the people who would go into coalitions are people who have actually worked for their own community. The people who actually understand that it's important to serve their own community. But right now we have a bunch of people who are simply interested in serving their own political party instead of serving the people of South Africa. They simply want to serve their own political party. They don't care about serving the people of South Africa. We don't have standards in South Africa, man. We don't have standards in South Africa. We are simply choosing people because we like them. We are simply choosing people to lead us because we like certain political parties. We are not choosing people because these people have actually done something in their own neighborhoods. We are not choosing people because these people have actually worked for their own communities. No, these people haven't done anything for their own communities. They haven't done a thing for their own community. But simply because this person belongs to the EFF, we're going to vote for this person to lead us. We're going to vote for this person to go to parliament. Simply because this person belongs to the African National Congress. That person is right. No, this person is a DA member. He is fine. As long as I'm a member of the DA, as long as I love the DA, I am going to vote for this person to lead us. And this is the reason why the country is crumbling today. This is the reason why the country is crumbling today. The political parties in South Africa, they never actually required us to have any standards for the people who want to enter the political arena. There are no standards for people who want to enter the political arena in South Africa. And this is a very important job. Servicing the people of South Africa is a very important job. And for this political party to take it so lightly, simply because they want many people to join the political parties. Many political parties today, like I said, they don't care about the kind of people that are joining their political party. It is the game of numbers. You remember last time Julius Malema went to this radio station, and he said that, yeah, I'm looking to work with Jacob Zuma and I'm looking to work with Isma Khashule because politics is a game of numbers. Julius Malema doesn't care that for the past 10 years he's been running after Jacob Zuma, screaming on top of his lungs that Jacob Zuma is a corrupt and he's a thug. But today he wants to work with Jacob Zuma. Why? Because this is a game of numbers. They don't care about the kind of people that are going to lead the EFF. They don't care about the kind of people they want to get into bed with. They simply want people with a lot of numbers. They simply want the people with a lot of numbers. And I think this whole thing of taking politics as a game of numbers, it is the reason why we are here today. It is the reason why we are here today. Political parties were supposed to be strict, especially for people who want to join them. Joining a political party was supposed to be a special thing. If you were going to be accepted into a certain political party, it was supposed to be a big deal. It was supposed to be a big deal. It was supposed to be a big deal. Unlike what they are doing right now, going around with the membership cards, giving every Tom, Dick and Harry a membership card because they want many people to join the political party. It was not supposed to be like this. And it is so fascinating that today in 2024, there's not a single political party that has actually approached the matters in that way. There is not a single political party that has actually said that, guys, if you want to join us, we want you to provide your background. We want to see where you come from. We want to hear the testimonies of the people that come from the same neighborhood as you. We want to see the contributions that you have made in that community. And this is the reason, this is the only way we can actually accept you into this political party. But political parties are doing the same thing over and over again. Even the new political parties who go around masquerading as new thinkers with new ideas, they are still doing the same things that the old political parties are doing. And this is the reason why the political system is never going to work for the people of South Africa. It is never going to work for the people of South Africa because, first of all, there is no standards for the people who want to enter the political arena in South Africa. There is no standard. There is no standard. I mean, like, if that was the standard, can you imagine that us going into 2024 elections, we would not look at the fact that I'm an EFF member, I'm an ANC member, I'm a DA member. We would look at Ramaphosa and say, Ramaphosa, you have been the president of the country for the past 10 years, for the past 5 years. Let's look at your track record. And if your track record tells us that you have failed, then we are not going to vote for you. This is how the people of South Africa were supposed to look at politics. This is how we were supposed to rate the people who wanted to lead this country. Right now, we have a lot of people in South Africa, they're simply going to vote for the African National Congress because the ANC is telling them that, guys, right now it is time to rise up and save the movement. You need to rise up and save the movement. Do not even look at the track record of the African National Congress. Do not look at the fact that all of the state-owned entities, they have been destroyed by the African National Congress. Do not look at the fact that people are losing their jobs because of load shedding. And this happened under the African National Congress. Do not look at the fact that corruption is rife. Do not look at the fact that crime is up. And all of these things are happening under the African National Congress. You have to rise up and save the African National Congress. We were never supposed to look at politics this way. We were supposed to be smart as South African voters. We were supposed to be smart and we were supposed to say, guys, because we have political parties that actually have standards in the country, the people would actually have standards too. The people would have standards too. Because people would understand that I cannot vote for every Tom, Dick and Harry. Before I decided to vote for a political party, I have to look at their work. You say, oh, the DA, you are governing in the Western Cape. The people of Western Cape were supposed to say, guys, you are governing for the people, you are governing for Western Cape. You want us to vote for you again. Let's look at your track record for the past 5 years. You've been governing Western Cape for such and such. Let's look at your track record before we give you your vote. And the fact, like, because political parties do not have standards, majority of the people on the ground do not have standards too. Are you even surprised that average South Africans today, they are fascinated by garbage politics? Average South Africans today on the ground, they are being fascinated by garbage politics. It is because the political parties do not have the standard. They do not have the standards. We were supposed to look at politics, man, in a different way. I honestly thought that these new political parties that we have today, I thought that there would be a new political party that will actually introduce this new system that, guys, we don't care about actually having a lot of people joining our political movement. We understand that this thing we're going to build it might take us some time, but at least we're going to know that every person who enters this political party is someone who has actually worked for their own community. We're not going to go around giving everyone a membership card. We're not going to go around offering everyone a membership card. We want people to understand that I want to join a certain political party, then I need to be willing to work for my own community. I mean, like, this is the same thing with Orania. If you are not willing to work for Orania, the people there in Orania, they are not going to accept you. Orania as a system there, it is not going to accept you because the people of Orania, they are doing everything themselves. They are working for their own community. And this is the only way you can actually enter Orania. You can enter Orania. The people of Orania, they are working for everything. I don't think the people of Orania can actually accept if someone says that I simply want to live in Orania, man. I don't care about service delivery. I don't care if I have a pothole, man. I don't care about that. I don't think Orania would actually accept you. No, they are not going to accept you They are not going to accept you. Why? Because the people of Orania, they are used to doing everything by themselves. So if you want to go and live in Orania, you have to be willing to roll up your sleeves. You see that logo of theirs, of someone rolling up their own sleeve. You need to roll up your own sleeve if you want to live in Orania. We were supposed to do that as South Africans. The political parties in South Africa, they were supposed to do that. But because this is a game of numbers, this is what you are seeing. And you cannot expect anything better to happen. You cannot expect anything better to happen. I mean, like the people like Jacob Zuma, the likes of Jacob Zuma, Ramaphosa, like these people would not get second terms. These people would not get second terms. If South Africans actually had standards, these people would not actually get second hands. You look at some people who have formed political parties today. These people would not actually have supporters in South Africa today. Most of the politicians that we have in South Africa today, they would not even have followers if we actually had standards in South Africa. But because we don't have standards, some of the most notorious figures in South Africa, they have a lot of followers. We don't have standards, man. We don't have standards. And I think, again, man, this is the reason why South Africans are so frustrated. This is the reason why South Africans, especially on the ground, they will tell you that all political parties are the same. Are you even surprised why South Africans are saying that all political parties are the same? It's because it's like they cannot point at the fact that the South African political parties do not have standards. So we don't have standards too. But now we know that we are frustrated because we know that even the coalitions are not working. So people are frustrated. People are saying that political parties are the same. But if anyone actually wanted to make a difference, if a political party actually wanted to make a difference in South Africa, this is how they would approach the matters. They would simply say, guys, it's fine. If you don't want to join our political party, we know that you haven't done anything for your own neighborhood. You cannot come here and say that you want to lead the municipalities in South Africa. You cannot come here and say that you want to lead the average South Africans on the ground, whereas you haven't done anything in your own community. You need to show us what you have done in your own community before we can accept you into this political party. You would think that today you would have a political party that would actually have that kind of thinking, but no. The political parties that we have today, as much as they are, South Africans still feel like there is no alternative. We have 350 political parties in South Africa, but people still feel like they do not have an alternative. Because all of these political parties, they operate the same. Even the new political parties, you would think that these new political parties would actually come up with new ways. But no, they're still doing the same things that the old political parties are doing. And this is the reason why the people are being frustrated. This is why the people are being furious. People are furious on the ground. Because there is no standards in South Africa. There is no standards. I can't imagine, man. Man, we would have top tier politicians, man, in South Africa. We would have top tier politicians in South Africa, man. And the fact that, like I said, man, the fact that we don't have presidential debates in South Africa, man, like it tells you everything that you need to know about South Africa. The fact that the people are going to vote for someone to be their president for the next 5 years, but this person has never actually stood on stage and defended their policies. Many of the policies that political parties have, they have a lot of loopholes. But I can tell you today that if you were to take those political leaders and put them on stage and say, guys, eat each other off while South Africans are watching, eat each other off while political parties are watching, do you think a party like the EFF would actually be able to defend the open border policy? They will not be able to defend the open border policy. They would never be able to defend the open border policy. You remember last time when Gayton McKenzie went to SABC, where Sizwe Mpofu Walsh was having a conversation with him. Sizwe Mpofu Walsh actually said that we understand that the Patriotic Alliance, you want to deport a lot of foreigners in South Africa. You are pushing for the mass deportations in South Africa. How are you going to do that? It was a simple question. How are you going to do that? We have millions and millions of illegal foreigners in South Africa. How are you going to do that? How are you going to make sure that those millions and millions of foreigners in South Africa, they have been deported? Because you still have to understand we have the constitution in South Africa. You cannot do anything. And Gayton McKenzie said, now the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to disband the constitution. We're going to get rid of the constitution. We're going to get rid of the constitution. We're going to activate, what is this? Where people are arresting each other or where people are arresting each other. I was sitting there and I was like, man, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Can you imagine people going around and profiling each other off in South Africa? A lot of people would actually die. Can you imagine you walking around in the mall and someone coming and say, let's see your ID. If you're not going to produce your ID, that means you do not belong in South Africa. Then we're going to deport you. Many people are going to die. It is nice to say that we want to deport millions and millions of illegal foreigners in South Africa. But when you go into the details, you find that most of these people that are talking about the deportation of illegal foreigners in South Africa, they do not have a clear policy of how they are going to do it. When it comes to the details, they don't know how they are going to do it. They know that it sounds nice for us to say that we want to deport millions and millions of foreigners in South Africa. It sounds nice, of course. It sounds nice. But when you go into the details, then you get to understand that most of these people, they don't know what they are talking about. The leader of the Patriotic Alliance was having a tough time explaining to South Africans how he's actually going to deport millions and millions of foreigners. He just knows that it sounds nice. It sounds nice. And besides, this is something that South Africans want. It sounds nice. The fact that we don't have presidential debates in South Africa, like these kind of issues would actually be discussed. Many people would actually say, Patriotic Alliance, as much as I agree with you on this whole thing of deporting illegal foreigners in South Africa, but you guys, you do not have a plan how to actually deport millions of foreigners in South Africa. You don't have a plan how to deport millions and millions of undocumented people in South Africa. You just know that you want to deport these people, but you don't have the plan on how to do it. This is the failure of us not having the standard in South Africa. All of these things, they are happening because we don't have the standards. People are simply going around and saying things and no one is challenging them. Ramaphosa is saying that, we're going to talk with the stakeholders. We are talking with the stakeholders. We are talking with the investments. No one has actually questioned Ramaphosa and say, Ramaphosa, you have been talking about the stakeholders. You have been talking about the investments for the past 5 years, but the people are losing their jobs. The companies are leaving South Africa. But every single chance that you get, you are talking about the investors. You are talking about the stakeholders. How are these investors of yours actually benefiting the people of South Africa? How are the people of South Africa actually benefiting from these standards that you are talking about, from these investors that you are talking of? Because Ramaphosa has never actually been held accountable anywhere, it's easy for him to go around and say that, we're going to fight this issue of unemployment rate. Many of the ANC guys, they go around and saying that, guys, we're going to make sure that we eradicate the unemployment. We're going to make sure that we fight with corruption. I mean, like, no one has actually stood in front of Bheki Cele and said, Bheki Cele, you have failed. You have failed. All of these things are the results of us not having standards in South Africa. Now we are suffering. We have a bunch of narcissists in South Africa. People who actually want to do something for the people of South Africa, they are not even joining politics. Isn't it funny that the people who actually are contributing to the poor people in South Africa, they do not even want to enter politics. People are simply opening up their organizations, they are opening NPOs and they are donating, they are going around doing the fundraisings so that they can actually help the people on the ground. These people want nothing to do with politics. They want nothing to do with politics. But politics, like these people there in politics, they were supposed to make sure, like, these are the people that were supposed to be responsible to changing people's lives on the ground. But the people today that are changing people's lives on the ground, they want nothing to do with politics. Guys, I'm not lying. I know we have a lot of NPOs today in South Africa. These people are not even in politics, but they are changing people's lives. I remember there's a center that I used to go to in Johannesburg. I don't know if that center is still there in Boksburg. That center that belongs to Pastor Stephen. New Beginnings. Those people are doing a lot of contribution, man. People would go to that center, people who don't have their homes, They would go to that center, they would get to that center, they would be processed. And after entering the center, because the center is working with certain companies, those people are simply not going to go to the center and sit down and roam around the center the whole day. No. The organization, the center on its own, is working with a couple of companies. And a couple of companies, like they are taking the people from the center to go and work for them. So you're going to go to the center unemployed, homeless. After 2 days, you are in the center, you have home, and now you have a job. Those people are changing people's lives for real. Man. And shout out to Pastor Stevens. Guys, if you know Pastor Stevens in Boxburg, tells him that I said hello. I know him very well. He's working so hard, man. A lot of people don't know him. He's not into politics. He's a man of church. He is a man of church. He wants nothing to do with politics. But that person is saving people's lives. Each and every day, center is taking people. Each and every day, and you will never hear of anything bad happening in that center. You will never hear of any rape, nothing happening in that center. And those people are the people that are actually changing people's lives. So that's why I'm saying that we don't have standards in South Africa so much that the people who are willing to work to change people's lives on the ground, they want nothing to do with politics. They want nothing to do with politics. Guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabao, so I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
The 360 Experience with Thomas M.